Evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Keeping cool in the county. Most of Contra Costa County has hot summer days, but fortunately, many of the evenings cool off nicely. Fog comes in, sea breeze comes in, 3/4 of the time it cools off. Last week was a bad exception. What's the best way to keep cool in this climate? First thing should come to mind is fans. That's your basic thing for hundreds of years. Moving air is more comfortable than stagnant air. The handout coming around shows on various types of fans I'll be speaking of. First one shown in there is a very basic oscillating fan that almost every household has. You require no instructions. A better alternative is your ceiling fan. These are more comfortable. These used to only be found in the South, now they're all over. They cost more, and they require professional installation. But I highly recommend it if you can, if it's appropriate for your home. The next one on the illustration is what they call a box fan. These are usually 2 feet square, 24 inches, 20 inches square. They move more air than most of the other fans. They're noisy, but they're ideal if you want to move air from one place to another. If you have an air conditioner in one room and not the other, box fan on the floor will move that air over. And they're the ideal fan to put in a window when you want to exhaust air from your house or to bring in fresh air from the outside. The next one shown is the attic exhaust fan. Now these are a little more complicated. They're professionally installed. They go in the attic and they're installed as attic exhaust vent. They're thermostatically controlled. You see the device on the wire there. And they sense the temperature, and when the temperature gets about 110 degrees, the fan starts, blows the hot air out of the attic. Once it cools off, the fan stops. If your house does not have attic gable vents, the same fan can be put through a hole in the roof. That's the next illustration. Then they're installed with the rain guard over them. They do the same thing. If you have a fan like this installed, I strongly recommend you have it installed with a switch inside the house so you can turn it off. If you don't have that switch, it goes on automatically. You have no control. If you're off on a vacation, it keeps on running. If the fan goes bad, it makes noise, you have to kill the circuit. So you have it put in, have them put in a wall switch. They usually put fan wall switches higher level than light switches so you don't get confused. Final one on there is your whole house fan. These fans are installed in the ceiling, they exhaust into the attic. They're large fans, manually controlled, but they're ideal for this climate. When it cools off outside, open the windows, turn on the fan, brings in a lot of outside air, blows it up in the attic, cools off the attic, and cool off the house much more quickly than any other way. Perfect for this climate. What actions can we take as residents to keep cool? Basically, when it cools off outside, you want to cool off your home as fast as you can. Frequently it cools off, maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night. Open up the house, open all the windows. Your 2-story house particularly, both up and downstairs, because hot air rises to the house like a chimney. And if you have any fans, put them in the window to blow out, bring in fresh air from other windows. If there's a breeze that comes in, if your house is fortunate enough to get, make sure your fans go the same direction as the breeze, don't fight it. If it doesn't cool off in the evening, set your alarm for 5 in the morning, get up, do your chores, open the windows, and go back to bed. Get 2 hours. But that's the way you get your house cooled off the best you can for the morning. And time comes either it warms up outside or you have to go to work, close up everything. Close the windows, close the drapes. I have windows, I have neighbors. Without air conditioning, they leave those windows open all day long. I don't know why. It's uncomfortable. And some houses you have the problem, you don't have windows, you have sliding doors. And people are uncomfortable leaving a sliding door open all night long. And the fix for that is make yourself a lock. Take your sliding door, open it 3 or 4 inches, whatever you're comfortable with, get a dowel and cut it off, put that in the groove the rest of the way, the other side of the door so it can't be opened any further. put some rubber crutch tips on it, you have a good tool for operating your air vents if they're in the ceiling. Insulation. Most houses in California have insufficient insulation. They built them in the 60s with 4 inches of insulation. 4 inches, the calculated rating is R11, which is a measure of heat resistance to heat flow, which the bigger the number, the better insulation. Today, they recommend R30 for attic insulation in most homes, which is basically take the 4 inches of insulation, put 6 inch insulation over it, that gives you 10 inches or R30. Highly recommended, make your house more comfortable. People sell insulation for floors and double glazed windows and so on. Makes no difference much for summer comfort. Helps a lot in the wintertime, reduce your heat load for heating. Air conditioning. Air conditioning is the most expensive and the most comfortable. If you're buying air conditioning today, you'll see the letters SEER. That's Seasonal Efficiency Rating. The higher the number, the more efficient it is. They used to be normally sold at a level of 10. And this is testing by industry standards. Today the minimum is 13. I think that's adequate in this area. You can buy equipment up to the efficiency level of 20. They're very costly. They have complicated equipment, multi-stage compressors. If you live in the valley, they might pay for itself. Living here, don't bother. And if you're thinking of air conditioning, don't fail to think of just room air conditioners. Room air conditioners cost a lot less to put in and less to operate because you only cool the rooms that you're in. You have central air, you're cooling the entire house, cooling the rooms that you're not in. But basically, talking about keeping cool, the more you spend, the more comfortable you are. That concludes my advice.